On today's DNVR Broncos podcast, we're breaking down the few schedule leaks that we know of already. Broncos going to London, Broncos playing the Chiefs on Christmas. Plus, we're previewing the rest of the schedule. Going to do some predictions of what we want to see, what we think we will see in the schedule, and we're breaking it down with our guy Brian Baldinger, and it all starts now. London calling. The Broncos are heading overseas this year. They're playing on Christmas Day. What else are we going to see with this Broncos schedule? We're going to break it down on the DNVR Broncos podcast live from the Toyota Lounge inside the DNVR, driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores. We've got Andre Simone, the legend, actually Mr. Europe himself, here to break down a Broncos Europe game. Zach Stevens, we got Dion here behind the camera. Dre, how you doing, doctor?
I'm doing good, man. Shout out to my guy, Luca Domeneghini, runs the Broncos community out there in Italy. I know he's already looking for Thursday through Monday, Zach.
Yep, let's go.
Big time.
Big time. And you know who else is going to be there, Dre?
Who's that?
We're going to be there in London.
Let's go.
We're going to be dropping details very soon, so make sure to stay tuned to our social channels, DNVR_Broncos on Twitter, X, of course, DNVR Sports on Instagram, and right here as well. We are going to be going to London, and we're going to be having some events for you.
Can I interrupt you RK style?
Of course.
First off, congratulations to RK.
Yes, of course.
Congratulations to RK and Allie. Let us be the first to say on an official DNVR channel, congrats to those guys. Much, much, much love to you.
All the love.
A belated Mother's Day?
Yes, of course. Belated Mother's Day to all the wonderful moms that at DNVR, plus our wonderful mothers, first and foremost, and to all the moms that watch us and join us on the show.
They raise you right if you're watching this show. A special, special shout out to Dion and Yahir's moms.
Yes.
They're the real MVPs.
Yes.
Putting up with these guys like we have to, they know.
It's a great point.
But that's not why I wanted to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Though it is a nice homage to RK.
It is, yeah.
Breaking news.
Uh-oh.
I got the temp turned down in the studio.
Wow, huge.
You thought it was something good.
Oh,
not
my
nonsense.
goodness.
There you go.
I mean, I was like, did the Broncos sign another tight end from Utah? Since for a moment there yesterday, they had 3 tight ends from Utah on the team. Then they cut one of them. So down to 2 tight ends from Utah on the team. I thought you were going to say they almost added a 4th.
Did Kliz misspell his name, Thomas Yamin?
Yeah.
Wasn't there an S? Okay.
Yeah, there's 2
because I held out hope. That's the guy Hank and I got excited about when we were talking undrafteds last offseason.
Yeah, and of course, you know, he was the international player, so they got an exemption for him, so people liked him even more because he was from down under.
Oh,
but
my gosh.
The Broncos are now using their international exemption
on
no. Jeremy Crawshaw. Punta.
Man.
So don't worry, Dre. I think we got a new fan favorite in.
Tough for the internationals these days.
Yeah, you lose one, you gain one.
Damn.
It's tough to keep a couple on your team, I guess.
And he's going to miss out on the London trip.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
Crawshaw better be ready for that thick, humid air.
Oh, that's October? What's the weather in October? October 12th.
Zach, I remember a clip of the Italian national team training in England in mid-July with like jackets on, telling each other like, can you believe it's July? Like, this is disgusting. It's going to be miserable, disgusting weather, Zach.
Wow, because the last time the Broncos were in London was 3 years ago, 2022.
Amazing.
And they played the day before Halloween. So it was the end of October. So this one's a couple weeks before. And Dre, it was besides the rain, so I guess that really puts a damper on it. Besides the rain, it was actually kind of nice.
That's the expression, puts a damper on it. That's what they're talking about.
That's got to be straight from London, right?
You would
put
think
a damper.
so. You would think so.
Just always cloudy and rainy. Wow, you're really putting a damper on this trip to London, Dre.
I'm all in, baby. All in.
You're all in, talking about how miserable it's going to be weather-wise.
I think that Tottenham Stadium has a cover. Can have a cover. Is that where you guys played last time?
No,
was it Wembley?
They played at Wembley.
See, that's historic. Bro, you've seen a Broncos game at Wembley. That's big time.
I got to say, though.
Technically new Wembley, so.
Yeah, okay, that's why. Because I was like, yesterday I was like, wait, which one did they play at? And I looked up Wembley and I'm like, that looks too futuristic for what I think Wembley should look like. So then I Googled Tottenham, and I was so confused. I was like, which one did they play at? So did some research, even though I was there. It was Wembley, but I got to say, it was cool, but it didn't feel like a European stadium by any means. It pretty much just felt like an American stadium. It was cool, though.
Yeah.
And Tottenham, apparently, where the Broncos will be playing, is like made for NFL games, where Wembley is more so for football, as they call it out there, and soccer as we would call it here.
Yeah.
This one is obviously made for soccer. They have a soccer team as well, but more so made for football. I think it holds 65,000 people, so just a little bit smaller than Empower Field at Mile High, and about the size of pretty much all modern-day stadiums in the NFL.
Yeah, I think it'll be another new British stadium for you, a new British football stadium, and I think you will enjoy it.
Good. Have you been?
We will enjoy it.
Yes.
No, it's been a while since I have been. I haven't hung out in London since I was a kid. So
wow. Have you done like business in London? Because you're saying you haven't hung out there.
I have not.
Okay.
I've flown through. You know.
Oh, fair. Yes.
Heathrow.
Bad.
I mean, it'll be fine now. Be great. People will love visiting, actually.
We can tell.
They have improved security a lot. I just cannot help but not, talk a little smack about the Brits.
I was going to say, we can hear your Italian coming out right now.
That's right.
Do you want to like cuss them out in Italian right now?
No.
Okay, you're gonna be nice.
Yeah.
And speaking of nice, Dre, boy, we're gonna have a nice Broncos team in Europe compared to the last time they were overseas.
They're almost too good to be Europe worthy is the problem.
It's a really good point.
Because usually the London game, and this must be a real issue for you given your profession as a beat reporter of an NFL team. It's always a like, oh right, Jags Jets is playing right now.
Spot on.
They're in the third quarter. Like, okay, like, oh boy, that really screwed my fantasy lineup. Wish I knew that tight end wasn't playing that I started.
100%.
So yeah, Broncos though, it's a higher level than what we usually get.
I think the NFL is starting to not just do trash teams overseas. Like, you look, because you're 100% right. That's what I think. Like, Broncos playing in Europe right now, that means that the NFL doesn't think they're very good, because that's what it's meant for the first 10 years of them doing this on a consistent basis. But now you've got, I hate to say it, but you've got the Chiefs going over and playing to start the season in Sao Paulo. You have the Chargers, 2 playoff teams. Again, hate to give them credit, but they both were 2 playoff teams last year. Then you have the Vikings. What were they, 14-3?
Yeah, I mean, they were playing for the 1 seed in week 18, right?
I know they, soiled the bed the final week of the season and lost that 1 seed. But Dre, they were 1 game away from being the 1 seed in the NFC, 15-2. And I know the playoffs didn't go their way either. But like, a very good team.
Yeah.
They're the first team that's going to play back-to-back Europe games this year, which is crazy, but also
That's
shows
brutal.
like, okay, the Chiefs, Chargers, Vikings, the Jets are not good, so that makes sense. Obviously, you got the Jags out there, and the Broncos, another playoff team. So maybe we need to change our ways of thinking about these Europe games, because you're right. That's the first thing that comes to mind is like, dang, they don't think the Broncos are going to be very good.
Well, long term, they're thinking like 16, 17, like almost a London game per week, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so that's kind of now why they're making one team do back-to-back games to see how that goes. And so, sorry, Vikings, you're the guinea pig for this.
Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that though, you don't have to like do practices in West Virginia there. Maybe a little Barcelona, something like that,
Yeah, or probably just
Berlin?
London. A little prep school. Oh, for the
in between,
You're right. Absolutely. Yeah. Maybe why not Italy?
Total. Sean would love Italy,
Yes.
and that's the kind of country you can make a deal similar to the club in West Virginia, just have your personal spot.
Yep, it's so
actually,
true.
Sean, hit me up. I know a couple of plays. I think
bet
we
you
could
do.
have some ins. Yeah,
I bet you do.
That's right.
Dre, so the last time the Broncos were there,
Yes. Also, Bo visited Rome this summer.
he did. Maybe he
Yeah.
was scoping out spots.
Could be.
That's a very good
Could
point.
be. Sean
Anytime
put
a
him on
Bronco
a-
enters Italy, Dre gets like a notification from their
No,
Homeland Security.
From Luca, who I just mentioned. He's like, what the hell? Bo's in Italy? Why didn't he ask me for like a restaurant suggestions? I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know him personally.
So we need to reach out to you,
You tell Bo.
Sean.
Just
I'll
let him know.
tell Sean too.
Tell
Yeah,
Sean.
Yeah, I love
Tell
that.
Vance. Tell them all,
I won't be telling Nathaniel Hackett. He was the Broncos
Well, no,
head
I
coach
imagine you're
the
not
last
in
time
contact anymore.
they were in London. Russell Wilson was the Broncos quarterback doing high knees down the plane. That's where that quote came out, that he was doing high knees as all of his teammates were sleeping. He specifically said that. It's like,
man.
yeah, I was getting work in. Everyone else was zonked. And it's like, oh, man. And then it blew up. Went national.
Bo just raw dogs the flight.
Oh, 100%.
As the kids like to say. Reads his Bible, maybe, since that's all he packed.
And when you say Bible, do you mean actual Bible or do you mean playbook?
Either or.
Yeah, probably both. Those
Either
are probably
or.
the two things that he brings.
What else did he have in the backpack? Tape? Some
Yeah,
extra cleats?
There was a tennis ball, so he could like
See, okay.
massage out his back.
He might be doing that.
Yeah,
he might be
yeah,
doing
yeah,
that. Okay.
exactly.
I love it. Light packer, though, as we know.
Yep.
And that's who you want to travel with.
There's no zins in there.
Yeah,
There's no alcohol in there. There's no weed in that backpack. Not even like a Game Boy or anything like that.
No.
We know Bo travels.
That's right.
Yeah,
Bible
yeah,
and
exactly.
Bible. Right. Yes. This is Bo Nix, not Ryan Green. you
Right.
know? Yeah.
Exactly. Wow, Ryan Green shout out on this one when we bring up
sorry,
just
guys,
those vices.
I'm on one.
and
You're getting British jokes. I'm throwing people under the bus. I'm
love
shouting
it.
out people's moms. We're doing it all today.
I absolutely love it. And speaking of shout outs, I want to give a shout out to our friends over at, man, these are tasty friends. I'll tell you what. They're our friends over at HelloFresh, where HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. And boy, HelloFresh is amazing because they got 50 wholesome, hassle-free meals to choose from each week, delivered straight to your door. HelloFresh's new ready-made meals go from the fridge to your fork in 3 minutes, Dre. So you skip the trip to the store. You skip the hassle of having to make a complex dinner. No, you save all of that time, which is crucial in your busy week. And we love HelloFresh. I love HelloFresh. And if you want to get a deal, get up to 10 free meals and a free high protein meal item for life at HelloFresh.com/Broncos10FM. That's HelloFresh.com/Broncos10FM. 1 item per box with active subscription. Free meal applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's up to 10 free meals at HelloFresh.com/Broncos10FM. Make sure to check them out because they're America's #1 meal kit.
Okay, and I want to tell you about the ground upon which the legend Zach Stevens is sitting upon.
The best ground.
Empire Today. That's
Boom.
right. Empire Today. You know, I just went through the process. We've got that nice new studio. We've got the watch along lounge. Yes, Zach, I know we're going to upgrade this furniture. Don't you worry. Those big box stores, it's impossible. It's impossible to navigate.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you're begging to talk to someone. The second you talk to them, they're like, oh, well, down in Wheat Ridge, I think our store maybe has one in stock. Like, thanks. That's really helpful. It's like, why even bother? Not Empire Today. Empire Today, for one, they actually exist and are a great company that will help you. They're not like a box store. Secondly, floors are what they do. That's their thing. That's what they do through and through. So, you know, box store it up all you want, trying to navigate all that, or go through Empire Today and bang. They've got you set on everything. Empire Today, it's a legendary story around DNVR. We had an appointment for them to install this beautiful floor. Usually it's, those absurd 9-hour windows.
Yep.
Half hour before we even schedule it.
Boom.
Bang. Done before our first show had to start. Never even had to sweat it at all. They have been a fantastic partner and fantastic to work with. And this floor is truly impeccable and has been despite all the wear and tear we put it through the years. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. DNVR listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code DNVR. Yes, you heard that right. A $350 discount with code DNVR. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday.com/DNVR for full details.
I will say, got to give a shout out to the Twitter chat who's tuning in with us right now. Hit us with a thumbs up. We really appreciate it. Especially, tons of people from Europe. Shout out to you guys because we're going to be seeing you guys and gals in London on October 12th and the days before with this Broncos game playing the Jets. And I also want to shout out the NFL. We said how they're giving a lot of good opponents now for international games. Shout out to the NFL for giving the Broncos a bad opponent. The New York Jets, that's a win for the Broncos. Jets, they might still have Justin Fields as their quarterback, but they'll probably be, 5 weeks into that and be like, man, we're not sold on him. The Jets are a totally rebuilding team. So I think if you're a Broncos fan going to that game, you're going to see a dub, just like the Broncos did the last time they played internationally. Although they had Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Wilson, they still beat the Jags. This one should not be close. Dre, the other game we found out about yesterday, Broncos bringing some Christmas cheer.
Amazing.
Will it be Christmas cheer to everyone's life? Playing on Christmas night, primetime, Thursday night football, Amazon Prime, week 17.
17, okay.
Do you like this? Do you not like this? This is a mixed bag for some people.
As a generous heart I am, I instantly thought of you, your beautiful wife,
Thank you.
Your wonderful family. Because now, we've all been through it.
Yep.
The holidays can be a little sketchy sometimes.
Yep.
And you'll have to tell me what you figure out. Maybe open some presents a Christmas Eve morning.
Yeah.
But my first thought was to you, Zach Stevens.
Thank you.
And, of course, the rest of our glorious Broncos crew, Yaya, Hank, RK. Who knows what RK will be up to on a day like that.
It's true.
But he loves ball so much.
Yeah.
And his family can annoy him, so I actually think he'll be pretty locked in.
Oh, wow, just throwing the family out there.
I told you, I'm letting it fly today. Family gatherings.
Yeah, that's fair.
He has a rule if they can only ask him they each get one sports question out.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's I love that guy so much. Can't wait for him to come back. I'm sure that once again the Nuggets will also have a Christmas game.
Yep, I'm sure.
So hopefully the scheduling gods can figure out a way to not overlap because these playoffs, the overlap really ticked me off.
Yep.
And then, it's the NFL's takeover of Christmas Day.
Yep.
And
they don't care.
On that part, I'm happy the Broncos are part of it. It was kind of last Christmas. I was in Italy.
Yep.
And we had both games on Netflix. Easy peasy.
Yep. That's true.
The NBA is always a little more complex, but the games on Prime or Netflix, anyone internationally, it's pretty easy to just put on, watch it. They were early enough to where we could see it, no problem.
Selfish me, I didn't even think about how actually those streaming games are better for the international market.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll put that in my back pocket.
And the Chiefs really whooped, the Steelers that week.
Oh, crushed them. Yeah, Russell Wilson.
And it's week 17. There's a good chance this team could, they could be playing for a large part of the AFC West, week 17 against KC.
You want to know a text I got from a Bronco about this game? This Bronco texted me and said, this game is to lock up the number 1 seed in the entire AFC.
Wow.
And holy cow, that's my reaction to wow. Let's freaking go. And that is how high the stakes can be. And you know what? That's what the NFL is saying with this game. They wouldn't have put this game, especially after the stinker that you brought up, Kansas City and Pittsburgh. They don't want to put that on prime time, not just on a Thursday night game, but on Christmas too, and then market it yesterday. And they're going to be marketing the hell out of this game. You know it. And Amazon's going to be pushing it too crazy. They don't want it if the Broncos are 7-8 going into this game, and the Chiefs are 15-1. No, they wouldn't do that. They believe in they believe in the Broncos in this.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think that's wrong. I think this really could be what's at stake for the Broncos. 10-7 last year. Chiefs, what? 15-2, 14-3, something like that. You expect the Broncos to continue to take a step up. Chiefs maybe take a little step back. I believe that I've heard some national people say they might take a little step back.
Well,
you meet right in the middle there. And that's how, with 2 games left in the season, you're talking about how this could be for the number 1 seed in the AFC West. And if you're fighting for the number 1 seed in the AFC West, you're fighting for the number 1 seed in the AFC.
I'm sorry, Zach. Pardon my ignorance. Who's hosting this one?
The Chiefs.
Oh, no, Zach.
Yeah.
Out of town at Christmas.
Yeah, that's why I thought you were thinking of me.
Oh,
so, Dre,
Zachster.
you know the very first thing that I did when I heard this news yesterday?
The right man for the job, though. I know that much.
I didn't even reach out to my family.
Oh.
I booked a flight to and from Kansas City. I'm gone. I'm gone on Christmas. Then I reached out to the family.
Me.
And let's say my mom...
Yeah.
Pretty mad at the Broncos and at the NFL, I guess, once again. And that's, I had to take my emotions out. The first time the Broncos played on Christmas, when I was working this job, it ruined me. One, because it was on Christmas, and I'm like, I'm not used to this yet.
Yeah.
The first time's always the hardest, or maybe the best, depending on which first time you're talking. And the second reason why that one stunk so bad, Dre, they played the Chiefs on Christmas night in 2016 in Kansas City. Do you remember how that game ended?
Poorly.
Very poorly, but embarrassingly poorly. This was the first time, I believe, maybe the second time, that the Chiefs had beat the Broncos to start their 15-game win streak or whatever it was. And Andy Reid was so pissed at the Broncos for beating them the entire time that Tim Tebow was here, the entire time that Peyton Manning was here, winning 5 straight AFC West, that he said, I'm going to dominate you guys. So not only did they, it was like 38-17, but at the end of the game, Dontari Poe, 350-pound Dontari Poe, threw a touchdown pass on the Broncos. So that was the second reason why it was just a terrible Christmas. And then remember the next time the Broncos played on Christmas? Just a couple of years ago. In fact, it was that Nathaniel Hackett year. When the Broncos played on Christmas, they went to London, and it was Nathaniel Hackett's last game as a Denver Broncos head coach because the Broncos got waxed 51-14 in Los Angeles. This was when Randy Gregory was after the game. He was walking out and wouldn't talk to reporters and said, you want to know if I punched the guy? Yeah, I punched the guy. And it's like, oh my gosh, things just fell apart. This is when Dalton Reisner is pushing, was it Brett Rippon that he was pushing on the sideline? Like, it was just mass chaos. So
yikes.
Christmas games haven't been too kind to the Broncos. I think this year is going to be different, though.
Yeah, if the stakes are that high, it's going to be amazing, playing for the division, playing for the 1 seed potentially. The stakes being that high, though, on a holiday, tough, too. Like this just happened to me on Mother's Day, where the Nuggets have a big playoff game at 1:30.
Yep.
No,
it's not. It's hard on the families.
Locked in on dad duties, husband duties, and then it's like, well, they're playing for the 1 seed.
Right.
Like, it is game 4. I don't know what to tell you guys.
So let's hope that the Chiefs are 3-13, 3-12 heading into this game, and there's really nothing at stake because the Broncos already have the division locked up.
That'd be amazing.
And then by the first half, the game's over. So you can tune out. You can go back to dad duties after the first half.
Right.
First quarter.
Travis Kelce's goodbye.
It's his last game at home. And it's emotional because it's also not a good farewell.
Right.
It's a bad farewell.
Like, it's his last home game because he'll never play a playoff game again for them.
I love this.
That'd be incredible.
It would be incredible.
And then his famous girlfriend's there in the crowd.
Yep. Oh, man.
Crying Christmas tears,
Let's go. Yeah. I love this. Okay.
Sounds great.
I'm building the good picture right now. Or let's say it is for the 1 seed in the AFC or the AFC West, or it's a big game for both teams here.
Yep.
Dre, this would be the rightful revenge that the Broncos deserve. Because last year, the last time Bo and Mahomes played, was the first time they played because Mahomes sat out week 18. I think he was too scared to play in that game, so he sat out. So Bo and Mahomes have only played one game together. This would be the perfect revenge because we all remember how it ended in Kansas City last year. Broncos won the game until there was just a disastrous special teams error that ends up, special teams coach leaves right after the game. Then after the season, the other special teams coach is fired. Pretty clear where blame was placed on that one. But Broncos are supposed to win. Bo Nix was supposed to be 1-0 against Patrick Mahomes. No better way to get revenge on them than in Kansas City, going into their house, week 17 on Christmas, and just giving them a lump of coal.
On Christmas, no missing last-second field goals allowed. No. That would be an atrocity. Cannot do it. Can't do it.
Honestly, you thought last year was bad? That's the only way to make last year's loss against Kansas City worse is have it on Christmas. You're so right.
Well, and it's going to be interesting what the first matchup at Mile High does for these two teams.
Yeah.
Because, of course, then the Broncos waxed them to get into the playoffs against their backups to end the season.
Yep.
And, yeah, you couldn't remember, were they 15-2, 14-3? They were 15-1 with the starters last year.
Jeez.
That, too, is on us,
Yep.
And they were not too pleased about it either, was my impression. So, yeah, I think the rivalry's officially on.
Wasn't it Andy Reid's worst loss, I think, as head coach of the Chiefs? Now, again.
Oh, man, Zach. The stakes are too high for Chris. Honestly, maybe I'm maybe coming back around. The stakes might be too high in this game.
Man, it's going to be so good.
Wow.
I'm really buying into the fact that this could be for the number one seed. To not just like who has the advantage, but to lock it up, because like the winner, they both enter 14-2 into this game. Is that what it would be? You know what I'm saying. They both enter. You win that game, you get a game, plus you have the tiebreaker, so it just locks it up right there.
Say 13-2.
13-2. Okay, yeah, you're right, because 2 more games to go after that. Oh, I'm so pumped. So this also, to me, Dre, shows that in the first 2 games that we know about the Broncos' schedule, they are back in the NFL's mind. The Broncos are back. You do not put this team in London when they're sending good teams to London now. You don't do that and then also give them the Sunday night or the Thursday night Christmas game if you don't think the Broncos are back. The NFL believes in the Broncos. What a time, man. We're back.
I had that realization like post-draft or maybe even pre-draft where it might have been one of your quote pieces talking about like the Broncos see themselves as contenders again.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my God, what it does to me, like to me as a human being walking around this world as a Broncos fan when the Broncos are contenders versus what these last 7 years have been is, it's just another world,
Man,
it's just another world.
It feels so good. And I know it feels good for the Toyota chat as well. So many people chiming in. We appreciate every single one of you. We're going to be joined by our guy, Brian Baldinger, in just a second. And I have a little task for you, Dre. And a little task for the people in the Toyota chat that will also ask our guy, Brian Baldinger, in the Toyota chat, over under 4.5 primetime games for the Broncos. Now, my question is, does London count as a primetime game? I don't remember. So the NFL allows you to have 6 primetime games at most. They cap you at that. I don't think they include international games as primetime because, to be fair, it's at 7:30 a.m. Denver time. Yeah. So not counting London, I'm going to set the bar over under 4.5 primetime games for the Broncos. Dre, think about that when I give a shout out to our friends over at First Bank. Whether you're on the road or at home or somewhere in between, First Bank makes banking easy, convenient, and secure. Their mobile banking app allows you to check balances, pay friends, and manage your money anytime, anywhere. And here's the best part. Open a new First Bank checking account today, and you could earn $300. First Bank is about helping you stay on track. Their tools make it simple to stay in control of your finances without the hassle. No matter where life takes you, First Bank gives you the freedom to bank how and when it works best for you. So if you're ready for a better banking experience and the chance to earn a little extra, head to efirstbank.com/bonus. That's efirstbank.com/bonus to open your account. And again, that's all about helping you stay on track. They have tools to make it simple to control your finances without the hassle. So go to efirstbank.com/bonus. Bank how you want, when you want, with First Bank. Certain restrictions and requirements apply. Member FDIC.
And a shout out to our friends at Game Time. What a perfect show to be doing a Game Time read on. Obviously, Game Time has you taken care of with the best last second deals. The prices actually go down. They've got priority Game Time picks where you can make it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, and theater. Right now, big Game 6 looming for the Nuggets on Thursday at Ball Arena. Now, you can get in the building for as little as $115.
That's not bad.
It's not bad at all. Broncos schedule coming up. You can find some great deals. And look, it's summer in Denver, so might be some up and downs with those teams, but it's always a glorious time to go check out the Rapids or Rockies. And Game Time has you set. Anytime I use Game Time, takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. I can, I bring the family, hook up friends. It's amazing. It's like I have a private sponsorship, but I'm just a Game Time user like you. It's that easy. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DNVR for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time.
Man, let's have Thursday be a closeout game for the Nuggets. Take care of business tonight. Then you win on Thursday. Close it out. And speaking of closers, we're bringing in our guy, Brian Baldinger, to help us continue to break down this Broncos schedule, make predictions. And there he is. Baldy, my friend, how you doing?
I'm great, guys. I'm great. Good to be with you. Excited like everybody else to see the final schedule, but just to see the leaks and some of the international games, some of the things that's going on. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so Baldy, we know the Broncos are heading overseas, playing in London against the Jets. They're also playing Christmas night on primetime against the Kansas City Chiefs. And Baldy, there's people in the Broncos building that believe that game, Week 17, the entire AFC could be up for grabs there with the 1 seed on the line. Is that little too much confidence from the Broncos thinking that they could be in that position Week 17? Or from an outsider's perspective and a neutral perspective like you are, could you see the Broncos being in such a position where the number 1 seed could be up for grabs in that game?
Well, I mean, the Broncos were 10-7 last year. The Chiefs were 15-2. I mean, it's a big jump. But, if you don't have a field goal blocked, at the end of the game, you probably beat the Chiefs last year. It's a little bit closer than that. I mean, if they make any kind of a similar jump from what they made last year with a rookie quarterback, who you got to believe is going to be better this year, then yes. I mean, I think when the schedule makers are looking at games like that on Christmas night, they're looking at a division game, a game that might decide the division. I mean, I think whatever their AI tools are to put this thing together, I think they're factoring all those things in right now.
It's incredible. I'm going to go away from the schedule talk, Baldy, because I only get to talk to you once in a while. I was looking at this. Obviously, the offensive line for Denver went through a bit of a transformation in pass pro a year ago, where they're coming off a 45-sack season under Russell Wilson and give up almost half of that, 24 times Bo was sacked last year. What was the key beyond the quarterback play, maybe, to that transformation? And where's this O-line rank for you among the best in the league?
Well, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I believe they started almost every game together. So they got a chance to play.
Right.
So I think, the continuity. And so, we didn't know about Wattenberg coming in there. There was a competition at center. He took it over. He solidified that position. He upgraded the position from what they had. Cushenberry and different guys they've had in there. I thought he upgraded it. Quinn has been a stud. Garrett has, they recognized his value and they rewarded him. So I think it's part of that. I think Bo Nix sees the field a whole lot better than the guys before him. And, Russell's always been sacked a lot. He got sacked a lot in Pittsburgh, got sacked a lot in Seattle. He just doesn't see the field the way a taller guy does. And then I think Bo Nix, his escapability was noticeable. He ran for 4 touchdowns last year. He averaged almost 5 yards a carry. He made a difference too in just rescuing plays when there was quick pressure. So I think it's a combination of everything. And I just think the passing game got increasingly better as the season went on. I remember distinctly talking to you guys the first 2 weeks, wondering if they're ever going to complete a pass to a wide receiver. Well, it took a while to kind of get that going. But, once they did, they all contributed. So I think it's a combination of all those things. But typically, Sean does such a great job of programming his quarterbacks. Drew Brees was never sacked a great deal. I think Zach Strief does a great job up front. Knows the system, played in the system with Sean, kind of knows things. I think he helped and made a difference last year at that, important offensive line position.
Baldy, one of my favorite things on the entire internet is your Baldy's breakdowns. And you had a Baldy's breakdown yesterday, breaking down R.J. Harvey, and you said something incredible, and it just makes so much sense. Tackling R.J. Harvey is like trying to grab Jell-O. It just slips out of your hand. And you had some awesome clips of him just literally slipping out of guys' hands, and it just got me even more fired up for the type of player that R.J. Harvey could be. What is his ceiling in a Sean Payton type of offense? Because he talked about how he was watching film in rookie minicamp with Sean Payton about Darren Sproles, with Alvin Kamara, and he said he wants to be better than those guys, which is, the floor for Alvin Kamara with Sean was 1,500 yards and 13 touchdowns. That's what he averaged. Can he be that type of player?
Well, I think I used to kind of joke to Kamara, he was like a cat on a marble table. Like you just couldn't get his feet, you just couldn't get him on the ground. Like he might slip and slide, and but his balance was unreal. Now, I don't want to compare anybody to Kamara because he was like Sean got themselves a great back. He slowed down a little bit like all of them do. But look, Pierre Thomas was a guy that was difficult to tackle. He was an undrafted free agent at Illinois that Sean had. He's had good backs. Darren Sproles was a remarkable. He was kind of before Sean got him, he was kind of just a returner. And then they got a third down role for him. And so you kind of don't want to compare him to anybody right now, except that he's going to be difficult to get to the ground. And then what he does after contact, or how he sees the field, or how quickly he finds daylight, we're going to find that out pretty quick. I have a feeling he's going to be pretty special though in this offense because of the continuity they have up front, how they run the ball. They run it from a variety of formations: 2 back, 1 back, spread, under the quarterback understand. They do a lot of different things in the run game. And so I think his ability to adapt to this is going to be pretty fun to watch.
A cat walking on marble is an all-timer. That one's great. Baldy, shifting gears to PS2. Obviously, at 25 years of age, he's already entered rarefied air as one of a few DBs in NFL history to win Defensive Player of the Year. What does he need to do to take that next step and be one of those handful of all-time great cornerbacks that we're talking about for generations, the Champ Baileys, the Deion Sanders, guys in that Darrelle Revis type of rarefied air?
Well, the interceptions help. 4 last year, the pick 6, all those, the numbers help for sure. But you can't always, sometimes you don't get a lot of targets. You don't get your hands on a lot. It just happens. Darrelle Revis didn't have a lot of interceptions, but they didn't catch a lot of passes against him. But regardless, the one thing I love about Patrick is I remember week 4 last year, you guys played the Jets in a rainstorm in New York, and you won the game. I don't even think you scored a touchdown that game, but you won the game. And I remember talking to Patrick before the game. That guy is you can literally have a discussion about anything. He's got a smile on his face. And really, when I say you can have a discussion with Patrick about anything before a game, it's sort of, some guys are tight before a game. Some guys just exude confidence. And that's what Patrick does. He just is a confident guy. Doesn't matter what the assignment was. I've seen him last year on Brock Bowers. Okay, here's an elite tight end. You go cover I think he loves that, and I think Vance knows that he does. It doesn't always work out the way you want it to. You can't always just travel with guys just because of down distance, time of game. Certain circumstances can dictate some of that. But the sky's still the limit for him. I mean, he's still a player that is still learning the game. Now, I was a big fan of his father's. His father was more physical than he was. I saw his father knock a guy's tooth right out of his mouth when he was playing in Southern Mississippi. Like I mean, the tooth came flying out. Like
Wow.
So I told that story to Patrick too, because he calls him Pops. Great deal of respect for his dad. But I would say the sky's the limit for him. Like I think he can still, because the more you see, the more chances you can take, the better, your offense is scoring points, you're playing with the lead, Vance's scheme now. Like I just think there's just, as you stay in the system and you lead the league in sacks last year, all those things help the ball come out faster. Like I think the numbers of interceptions and passes defense, I think all of that can go up for him now.
I absolutely love that. And Baldy, these guys, some of them very personal, like you were talking about with Pat. You've been in an NFL locker room. And so I want to ask you, Bo has really taken a step this year in leadership. This offseason, he's the first one to reach out to Evan Ingram when they're trying to recruit him to Denver. He's the only guy that, from my understanding, that has reached out to every single rookie that the Broncos drafted, welcoming them to Denver. How important is it for him to take that leadership step and really embrace that this is his team, even though he's just a second year in the NFL?
No, it's huge. It's huge. Some guys never learn it. Some guys, got to grow into it. But it sounds like, he understands what his role is. Now, part of that is you play 61 games in college. You play for a couple elite programs at, Auburn, Oregon, whatever. You kind of understand that. But it's different when you come and, there's Courtney Sutton and there's some veteran guys around you. Evan Ingram's been in this league for almost 10 years. I mean, that's huge. And the guys recognize that too. It's not like, he's just, this is what's expected of him. They recognize that he's now in that leadership role, embraces it, and now is going about his business. Because I think building that camaraderie in the offseason is paramount. And it carries over. I remember distinctly when Troy Aikman came to Dallas in his second year at Valley Ranch, throwing it to Michael Irvin and going against Dion and all the things they were doing in April, way before mini camps or anything else. Like it's important to build that chemistry, that camaraderie, and to do it just naturally. It's coming. This is what I need to do, not because coach wants me to do it or this is what's expected. This is what we need to do, not just me. This is what we need to do as a group.
I love that, Baldy. Final one for you. Do the Broncos, I think NFL teams can get a max of 6 primetime games. Do the Broncos are they a team that should be close to that, whether it's 6, whether it's 5? Should they be in that upper tier right now? Because obviously locally, everyone has a bias toward them. But nationally, from your perspective, are they a team that could deserve one of those top spots?
No question. I mean, it helps that, Sean spent a year at Fox, was around all those guys because these games are going to all different networks now. They all know Sean. He's a Hall of Fame coach with a Hall of Fame quarterback on his resume and, quickly turning things around. The coaches matter. The players matter. Winning teams matter. Markets matter. Denver's a great market. It's a great home field. It's a great division. It might be as good a division as there is in football right now. Those division games matter. Going up against Kansas City, like on Christmas, like they're going to be right there on the cusp. I remember, a guy that played on the East Coast on a bad team. He's looked at his schedule one day and he told me, he goes, "Man, Baldy, we got all 1:00 games. I get to be in my, my love chair at 4:30 watching the late game every Sunday." Like the Broncos aren't going to be, on the sofa watching the late game on Sundays. They're going to be playing a lot of primetime games. They're right there. Kansas City, Philadelphia. There's some teams that are marquee right now in this league, but I think they're right there at probably 5 and maybe 6.
Man, Baldy, you brought
Great
the
stuff.
heat as always. The chat's loving you. We love you. Thank you so much for tuning in with us, and we look forward next week to breaking down the schedule once we have it with you.
Let's do it, man. Let's go find a way to get 12 wins.
Boom. I love it. Thank you, Baldy. Have a great schedule release day tomorrow. Man, Baldy is the absolute best.
Legend.
Love having him on. And speaking of the absolute best, that's the Twitter chat. Everyone tuning in with us, rocking and rolling with us. We appreciate you. Hit us with the thumbs up and an announcement tomorrow. Doubleheader on the DNVR Broncos podcast. We're starting off with our show in the morning at 11 a.m. And I'll give you guys a scoop. We're having Chris Harris Jr. on. Chris Harris Jr. No fly zone.
Amazing.
Benny has an incredible interview with Chris, and we're going to be playing some of the clips from that, and then that full interview is going to drop right after our show, and you're not going to want to miss that. And then you're not going to want to miss 6 p.m. right when the schedule drops. We'll be breaking it down here. So you don't need to tune in. You don't need to go find the schedule somewhere. No, just tune in with us. We're going to break it down, give you everything you need to know. Benny is going to be joining us on that show as well. So an awesome day tomorrow. Make sure to stay tuned for both of those shows. And in the process, you might as well just get our merch, which I think is the best merch out there, on sale. 30% off. We're having our spring clearance sale right now. Everything is at least 30% off. Dre, you probably made this decision. I think you're crazy. Up to 75% off on some of our stuff. Do you not want to make money or what?
No, we like making money. It's the timing of it really benefits our people because the other... those other markets, it's Sleepy Town, USA. Chicago, they had that week with the Pope, but nothing. They've been out. All those seasons have been over for 9 years.
It is cool that they have the Pope, but when the Pope is the highlight of like your Q2 in a year,
it's rough, Zach.
For sports, that's bad.
It's rough. But we've got all the excitement going into this Broncos season, all the excitement with, Buffs and Nugs, playoff run, and Avs, we still want to celebrate a nice year. Boom, that sale, incredible. Go check it out, store.allcity.com.
Yep.
And link in the description. But yeah, jump on it now. Will not last long. In fact, we're running out of stock on the big time stuff already. So get in now and get it done.
In fact, Dre and I both like our stuff so much that we're both wearing our stuff. I've got a DNVR shirt. Dre has the, which one do we have going on?
So this is the Lightning is Coming, which is a quote off of Jokic talking about him running pregame. You've got Lucifer on it.
Yeah, just incredible, amazing stuff. So make sure to check it out. All City Network or store.allcitynetwork.com. And Gabe, man, I feel bad for you in the Twitter chat. He says, come on, man, I had one game I could have gone to this year living in New York and it gets moved to London. So here's what you do, Gabe. You spend some money at the store, All City Network, but you're going to get a discount. You use those savings to pay for your trip to London, nice. And then you can go see the Broncos there. Okay, Dre, let's get back into the schedule predictions and what we expect to happen. And 4.5 primetime games. Over, under. Where are you going here?
Such a well set line. Really, really well set. Obviously, one is a given with Christmas. I think the chat's on it with some of this stuff like Bengals, because that was such a banger.
Yep.
I saw some comments of the Commanders has to be one.
Yep.
This, Bo Jayden, kind of a thing.
Yep.
Also, are you up on Jayden's mom?
Whoa, no.
She won't let him talk to girls.
Oh, yes. She thinks that everyone's just out to get him.
So
kind of.
Yeah, exactly. 3 are given. I think you could have another divisional one.
Yep.
See, I was going to say 4 on the dot and take the under.
Yeah.
Now that we talk it through, I kind of think a 5th is coming.
Yep.
Might be Raiders and Chargers.
Yep.
3 of those might be division games.
Yep. I completely agree with you there, Dre. The Chargers games typically are good games with the Broncos. And
nowadays, that's actually 2 good teams going against each other.
Exactly. 2 playoff teams. Yeah. You get Sean, you get Jim. It's a good selling point too because primetime, it's also about being able to sell it. You can sell that one. It's Herbert against Bo. Even though we know that Bo's better, some teams are still trying to figure that out and learn that the hard way by playing Bo. So I agree with you. Everything you said, I agree. Those are all primetime games. And then I'll just throw one more in. just like you said. There's going to be one more primetime game. So we're going to be at 5. And boy, that will just show that the Broncos are back officially. Now, Dre, you pointed to the Commanders game and said that's got to be primetime. I 100% agree. And speaking of marketing that's so easy to market. In fact, it's so easy to market. That's week 1. That's week 1. Let's make that Monday Night Football week 1 of the season. Did I just hear someone from the back say no?
I think so.
What do we not like about that?
Those week 1 Monday nighters?
Yeah.
They've been double headers as of late.
So I think
it better be the first of the double headers.
As of late, the first
Washington.
week has been normal. Week 2 has been the double header.
Really?
Very weird. Yes, very strange. So maybe that's what they do. So we get the normal Monday night primetime game, and then the following week we avoid that because they had the normal Monday night game. So would that take your Yelp back, you hear? Yes, okay. He's okay with that.
Yeah,
but I mean, Dre,
that's a late
Bo Nix, Jayden Daniels, 1 and 2 in Rookie of the Year, 2 of the best rookie seasons we've ever seen. That's how you start their sophomore season, going up against each other on primetime. Come on, man. And then also, you have the Cowboys and Eagles playing that Thursday night, so it's not like they could do Commanders-Eagles week 1. No, because the Eagles already have their opponent. So I could see this being, maybe I'm dreaming too much,
this could
but
make sense.
especially after listening to Baldy and him saying, no, Broncos are sellable, man. They're big. Jayden Daniels is also sellable in that Washington market's getting a lot of talk this year because they're building the new stadium, all that. Come on, let's do that. I love that.
I could see that. I could also see like one of those division games gets put on Monday night.
Yeah.
Just like get it out the way.
Totally. And it always feels like a division game is near the beginning of it. Well, we know, to get into some more predictions, so we know that the NFL likes to close a season out with division games, the final 2 weeks of division games. We already know the Broncos have the Chiefs. And do you want the Raiders or do you want the Chargers?
Yeah, I probably want the Raiders.
Just like a rollover game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I probably want that as well.
Pete Carroll's already been fired, you know.
Ashton Genty been traded.
Tom Brady had to like give up his owner's stake in shame. And Geno Smith is about to break the sack record, so they actually bench him.
Yep.
It's once again Aiden O'Connell closing the season. Yeah, that would be glorious.
Please, I'd love that. That's great. One thing we know about the schedule that we haven't talked about yet, the bye week is very, very, very likely going to be week 7. The NFL has given bye weeks to teams after their international games.
Pretty much that's week 6?
Every time. Yeah, we know that the Broncos is week 6 in the Jets in London. So bye weeks likely going to week 7, which is about like twice as early as it was last year. Last year was week 14. Now it's week 7, but it's not as early as it can be. So it's okay.
Kind of perfect.
Yeah.
You'd love for it to be more in that 8 to 10 range.
Yeah. Actually, you're right, though.
7's not bad, though.
Well, especially for a fan's sake, it's like, that's earlier than half the year. Like, we want it more in half the year. When you take into training camp and preseason, it's actually about right in the middle of half of the working season for the Broncos. When they get there in July, they have the second week of October off, and then they're going to be playing football till February. That's about midway through.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
Really
football till February? Yeah.
Taking over.
Yeah.
Year round.
Yep. Exactly.
Year round sport.
Yeah.
All over, country, worldwide.
Well, now they are.
The takeover, it's happening, guys. All holidays, we're going to have an NFL game on.
It's 4th of July. We're back, baby.
I can't wait for them to start doing Tuesday, Wednesday games to take over the action, you know?
You know what's going to happen.
Of course.
Did you see what's happening with college football? So there's a prime time 2 games. They announced it a couple days ago. The NFL's doing 2 Saturday games. They're both big games. It's the exact same day that college football has their first round of playoffs. The NFL just don't give a F anymore.
Dang.
They're just going to kill anything and everything that doesn't even try to get in its way, that just exists.
That's crazy.
They're going out of their way to smash it all. So yeah, Maction, see ya.
Except for high school football. Not Fridays. Not going to pay on a Friday. Sorry, guys.
They're like, there's a reason we don't play on that day because it sucks.
But that's one step too far. A Friday? You're crazy.
Yep. So, Dre, what else do you want to see predict with this schedule?
Okay, I was going to ask you about the bye. You mentioned that Fields might not even be playing for the Jets by week 7.
Yeah.
Their backup quarterbacks are Tyrod Taylor.
Okay.
Which I'm just happy Tyrod has overcome that.
Yeah.
Happy
his lungs are
being
okay.
sabotaged and stabbed.
Yeah. Watch out, Justin Herbert, with that training staff.
Adrian Martinez, who I'm pretty sure Dion's Buffs faced against at some point. He is nodding yes.
Oh my
gosh. I did not know that. He's not A Magic. That was T Magic. Taylor Martinez, if you remember, from like 15 years ago. But I didn't know he made it to the NFL. So congrats to him. And then Brady Cook, who I myself am struggling to. Missouri's quarterback, the rookie.
Oh,
the rookie.
Of course.
So,
maybe Brady Cook.
My brother, that is a bad quarterback.
Yes.
That's as bad as it gets right there.
Yes.
Terrible.
It really is. So that's great news for the Broncos, regardless
has to be
of who
Justin
they're playing.
Fields. Has to be Fields.
I'm happy you went to the quarterback route, Dre, because I want to see a couple of teams early in the season for their quarterback specifically. Give me the Titans early. I'm not concerned about the Titans, even if you play them late and Cam Ward's playing well. I still think the Broncos beat them, but give me a rookie early. It's a win regardless. It's a home game.
Doubt.
But
great call by you.
Give that to me week 2. Also, it's the Titans. Like, who's going to get fired up about that game late in the season? Let's just get that one out of the way. Tell me if I'm crazy for this. I want the Giants early.
I love this.
Because Russell Wilson will still be their quarterback early. With how chaotic their room is, he's not going to be their quarterback late in the season. But I want Russell Wilson to finally play against the Broncos in Denver.
That would be legendary. I guess if you played him later, you'd probably get Jackson Dart, which is the same argument as beating up on Cam Ward.
Yep.
But I think that'd be fun to beat up on Russ. Sean knows him. Vance knows him. They know exactly how to game plan against him.
Yep.
That would be kind of glorious.
And then one more thing that I'm looking at, Dre, and tell me if you agree with this or if I'm a little too crazy. Give me the Bengals early in the season. Kind of for like the opposite reasons. They have a great quarterback, but the Bengals always start off so freaking slow. I don't get it. Aiden Hutchinson is now having major issues with the franchise. He might not be there.
Trey Hendrickson.
Yes.
You
he might not
confused your
be there.
white edge rushers.
Yeah, exactly. White dominant edge rushers.
Yeah.
He might not be there early in the season, but regardless of if he's there, they're still going to be very slow to start the season. So give me the Bengals early. That's probably a primetime game, as you mentioned, but let's do week 2. Back-to-back primetime games to start the season.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Love how you drew that up. What is their deal? Why do they always start so slow?
It makes no sense. Like, I really like Joe Burrow. I think he's a phenomenal quarterback, and it's instead of hating him, I've chose to like embrace him and like him. And I'm starting to
Burrow
think
head. How could we not?
It's exactly. I'm starting to think it's him. Like,
whoa,
a little bit of him too. Like, it's bleeding into him. Don't you fire Zach Taylor? I don't know, man. But this is Zach Taylor's last season. I would have to imagine.
Anytime I look at the sideline and the head coach literally looks like a child, that's who I blame. Zach Taylor.
Wow.
Zach Taylor, you're under watch.
So you would be looking at me and blaming me.
Oh,
yeah.
Are you kidding me? You would too.
I like that. Yeah, you're probably right.
You'd be like that guy.
I like that you stand by your take. Yeah, that's great. Okay, let's go out to the super chat from Cringe Brosby. Is this a
Look
pound?
at the currency that is in.
Is that a pound?
It's a pound, baby.
We got 5 pounds coming in from our friend. Thank you for the super chat. Says, can you guess where the super chat is from?
Oh, it's from somewhere in England.
Yes.
I'm guessing London because that's where most of the population's concentrated.
I agree. And he says, Broncos from the UK that came to the last game in London. Can't wait to have you guys back and hopefully meet. Let's frickin' Bo. Congrats, Ryan. Yes, I cannot wait. Thank you for the super chat. And stay tuned for details on our trip that we're going to have planned out there. We had an absolute hoot last time when
That's what
we
they tell
went.
me.
We got there, I think, Tuesday. We had an event, I think, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all day Saturday. And of course, we had the massive tailgate on Sunday at the closest bar to the stadium. It was an absolute banger. Oh, look at this. We got another super chat rolling in from our friend Trip Hazard, who says, I was planning on coming to Denver this season for a game, but now London
Look at
game. You might even
that.
say London calling. Says, tough decisions. Do we still get cheap beer at bar if we're an OG diehard? High five to Andre, by the way, the big Tabowski. Yes.
Legend, the big
The OG, the
My
big
guy.
Tabowski.
My guy.
Maybe you do both, the big Tabowski. Come to Denver for a game, hit up the bar, and then also go to the London game. You're going to have to go there and join us for the entire time. We had a blast. I had a blast with you, Dre. Shout out to you. Shout out to Baldy. And we'll be back tomorrow. Doubleheader starting at 11 a.m. on the DNVR Broncos podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.